Today we are discussing the string class. Strings are reference variables, not primitives. Strings and characters, chars, are often confused with each other because both can hold characters. However, strings are far more complex than chars. As you already know, the char data type is able to hold single letters or alphabets such as lowercase a, uppercase a, 1, and symbols such as the pound sign or a question mark. However, strings can hold any number of characters such as entire sentences. In addition, each string, as a complex data type, includes a list of behaviors or methods. In object-oriented programming, we'll call strings a class. In here, notice that string needs a method, while char needs a double equals relational operator. If we press run, this is the output. There is really only one way to test if chars are equal, with a double equal sign. However, with strings, we can use several methods, such as compare to and the equals method. Note that sometimes double equals will work with strings, but other times it won't. Make sure to use equals or one of the other built-in methods to avoid inconsistent behavior. As a side note, you can also create a new string and call a method directly from it. So here's an example of char, and here's an example of a string. Notice that a char can only hold one value and has a very limited number of actions. However, a string can have 50 plus actions that you can do with a large number of values. In strings, it's holding an array of chars. Java also includes several special characters that are known as escape sequences. Here are a few of them. Notice that the /0 is a null character. If you put it inside a string, it will look like a space. Every string is terminated by this null character. Therefore, an empty string includes only a null character. There are other escape sequences, such as /t, which adds a tab to your string, and /n, which moves anything after it to the next line. System out print line tacks on the new line character so that each time you call system out print line, it will be shown as a new line. System.out.print won't do this. Here is how primitives are stored in memory. The value and location are stored in the same place. Also, in a real situation, the floating point includes two parts, called the mantissa and exponent. For simplicity, we show it like this with two parts as fixed and decimal. Note, if you set a primitive to another, the value merely gets copied to the new location. However, if you set a reference variable to another, they reference the same location of the value. This is why they are called reference variables. So the actual value in the variable's location is merely a reference to another location with the actual values. This becomes incredibly important to understand once you start using arrays and methods. As mentioned before, strings have many actions called methods. For example, there is a method called char@, which has a return type that is a char and takes in an int as a parameter. This means that you can put in an int and you will get a character. So you might call the method like this. We specify the name of the string we are accessing and expecting to get a char back. So if we have two strings, name and hello, we need to specify the name, hello, and then call char@, which indicates we are trying to get a char inside of the string hello. There is also the indexOf method, which returns an int and takes in a char as a parameter. Also note, when a method returns something, it basically becomes that value, which means that you can use it as a primitive. So as shown here, we are getting the index of w, which is 6, and the index of e, which is 1, which means that equation will be 7. There are also other methods that you can use, such as equals, which takes in another string and returns true or false on whether the two strings are equal to each other. Remember that this is significantly better than using a double equals operator on reference variables. There is also a substring method, which takes in two parameters and returns the string. Once again, the return type means that the method literally becomes that returned value. Also note, if you go on Java's website, it will tell you that the end index is exclusive, while the beginning index is inclusive. So if you call a substring like this, it will return LO instead of LO with a W. However, there are 50 plus other actions that you can do with this string, and I merely covered some common ones. So hopefully that made sense. Let me know if I missed anything. Thank you.